This is the story of the 1971 war. What were its causes, how it was conducted, and how it was wrapped up. We will put you on an aircraft so that you can understand how the war was won from the sky. We'll make you part of a battalion which stayed in the President's house. You will march with the soldiers of the Indian Army. This is the story of the Indian Armed Forces and how we ensure victory in war. This is the story of a liberation of a country and the making of a nation, the birth of Bangladesh. The INS Kukri story has a background, and the background was what happened in 1965. Pakistan Navy came to Dwarka, bombed Dwarka, and claimed it as a great victory, which was a very humiliating experience for the Indian Navy because they were not allowed to fight back. So this probably was one of the major causes of why the Indian Navy was so successful in 1971, in the sense that they said, we have to prove that we are no less and better than any other navy in the world. When Admiral Nanda was FOC&C, Western Naval Command in Bombay, he had made a mention that if I get a chance, I will set Karachi on fire. And he kept to that promise because Karachi burned for 7 days and 7 nights when the oil fields were on fire.
Aircraft of the IAF continued attacks on the Karachi docks, setting fire to oil storage dumps.
So this was the background to why and how the Indian Navy did a great job. Unfortunately, the anti-submarine minesweepers which we had, the Kukri, the Kirpan and the Kothar, their sonar distance to record enemy ship was only 2,500 meters. But we had what is known as the Sea King helicopters. As long as the Sea King helicopters were there to protect the anti-submarine frigates, the Pakistani Daphne class submarines, the Hangor, the Mangrove and the Shushuk, kept away from the scene of battle. But at 6 o'clock, for unknown reason, the Sea King helicopters were called back and there was nothing to protect the anti-submarine frigates. And as a result, the Hangor was able to fire the torpedo. Captain Mullah, Mahendranath Mullah, was the captain of the ship. And he was caught unawares that, the Kukri was sinking. 2 torpedoes, one after the other, it caught it midship in the middle of the ship, and it set off the ammunition. Whereas he could have saved himself, he gave his life jacket to another sailor, told him to take care of yourself, but he could still have saved himself, but he said no. And he knew that there were about 200 or 300 of them down below. So I presume he thought to himself, how can I save myself when my sailors are going to die, going to drown? And so he went down with the ship. And within a couple of minutes, the Kukri sank. In a great act of cold courage, he sacrificed his own life for the value of the Navy, that you come last country comes first, your men come next, and you come last. So the example of of Captain Mullah is something which is very, very motivating and inspiring. The Indian Navy is called the silent service. They don't talk about themselves, and therefore it hasn't got the importance they deserve. They did a fantastic job. No merchant ship from any country in the world could approach Karachi Harbour without permission from Delhi. This is unprecedented. So the success of the Indian Navy on in the western side and the eastern side was fantastic.
I was a young rifle company commander in the 1st Battalion of the Maratha Light Infantry. It's also called the Jangi Paltan. The inevitability of the impending war was upon us. It was quite evident by the middle of 1971 that the war was upon us. After the elections that were held in early 1971 and the Awami League got the maximum number of seats, the West Pakistanis couldn't stand that. So there was a crackdown in Bangladesh and insurrection and otherwise. There were almost 10 million refugees had entered India by that time. So the war was imminent, there was no doubt about it. Preparation. Getting the troops together, preparing for the war. It helped us to equip and train the Mukti Bahini. You know, those who were volunteers to fight for the sake of their country. On the night of 13th of November, 1971, we set off on this ambush, the 2-company ambush. We were then tasked by our commanding officer to move up, close in during the night of 9th, 10th December into Jamalpur. So we moved up during the night, but I hardly closed my eyes when my platoon commander, this is nearly midnight by then, he gave me a call comes up on the radio set. He's saying, "Sir, I can hear the voices of a noise of vehicles coming from the Jamalpur." So he asked me, what should I do? I said, do. The moment they come within range, you let go. Fire off and knock whatever you can out. And it so happened that as the leading vehicle came, he again used one of the 57mm recoilless rifle. God bless that weapon. And for the first vehicle was blown up in flames. And then all hell broke loose. Firing from all, our own boys and the Pakistanis. Allahu Akbar karke, they came charging at our positions and firing us. I quickly reached out to put on my jungle boot to go and to exercise control, and I found that the jungle boots had been ripped apart by bullets that were flying around. In order to guide them, I left my company location to tell them where to come in. And as I was doing that, my lungi got stuck against some bushes and it came off. And I had taken the precaution of wearing a pair of shorts. So I was wearing shorts. I didn't go naked at that time. And it so happened that as I was doing this, my good old Sahayak bodyguard, he suddenly from his big pack, I don't know why, how, where, he pulled out a pair of Hawaii chappals and gave it to me. I said, by God, why he was carrying it, I still don't know. Because after that, I was able to a little more comfortable on my feet. And then, of course, as I said, the whole night this carried on. So by about 4:30, the firing had ceased. And we could see some of these chaps, saab, wo hum surrender karna chahte hain, sort of thing, Urdu mein, Punjabi mein, jo bhi hai. So then we said, okay, come forward with your hands up As I said, it started at about midnight and the firing had ceased at about 4:30 in the morning. And by about 5:30, it was dawn had broken. And there were all these Pakistani, bodies lying in front of our positions. And my commanding officer came out and, onto the road and saw this sight. And, obviously he was thrilled that we had managed to achieve. So was the brigade commander, who was also with one of the other companies in the depth area. On the 16th morning, they had agreed to surrender, so they sent a message, and our General Officer Commanding General Nagra, the brigade commander, and our commanding officer Brar drove into Dhaka. That's how General Jacob then flew by helicopter into Dhaka on the morning of the 16th and negotiated with Nazi the terms of the surrender, the documents. So as we were entering Dhaka, all these Pakistanis were there glaring at us. They were still with their weapons and all that, but they had surrendered. So I moved along the road, entered the cantonment and a slightly sort of a posh area. Suddenly I found a house, a big mansion, the president's house. There was no one at the gate. We went inside, no one in the house. So I told my chaps, I said, we stay here tonight. That was the president's house in Dhaka. The president's house means the house that Yahya Khan used to stay in whenever he visited Dhaka. So I spent the night in the bedroom that Yahya Khan occupied, and we spent our night. We had our dinner in that lovely dining room in his crockery that he had and all that. One is about our men. I think, our men are absolutely, you can't find enough words to praise them. They're outstanding. In 92, 93, I was the head of UN forces in the former Yugoslavia. And I had military personnel from about 34 countries of the world under my command. So I think I can speak with some degree of authority on the quality of our men and the junior leadership. Outstanding by any stand. We're second to none in that respect.
I was flight commander of 110HU helicopter unit. Flight commander is like the ops manager, and so I'm running the show of the operation. Any job that comes to me, then I detail the pilots, I detail the engineers and the helicopter. Our main job with the 4 Corps was communication flight. That means carrying troops, carrying arms, ammunition, food, whatever the army wanted us to go and deliver, wherever they wanted us to deliver, and to bring back any casualties, any injured people, and dead bodies. We couldn't leave the dead bodies in the field as well, because that's not good for the morale, and also we wanted to give them proper rights. So we were always bringing back whoever died, we always brought them back, and they were given proper rights at the base. On the 6th of December in the evening, we were told that our aim is to move 1 battalion to Sylhet. We had enough fuel to do 3 trips each helicopter. And so we were waiting. I told my pilots and that as soon as the passengers come, we'll load them up, and one by one we'll get airborne. We'll keep a gap of 3-4 minutes. 20 minutes later, I landed at Sylhet, dropped my passengers, got airborne. Second one landed, they dropped their passengers, got airborne. And we made it like a circle. And then we kept going around till we had finished 3 trips each. When we went the first time, there was no enemy, nobody was firing at us. But when we went the second time, or even when the 3rd or 4th helicopter arrived, enemies started surrounding us and they were firing at us. We could see the bullets, when you can see the bullet that you see is a tracer bullet. So when 1 bullet is coming, that means 4 more bullets are behind it. So the 5 bullets are coming towards you. And there were hundreds of them, literally hundreds of bullets are coming towards us. But they were out of range, so they're not getting us. We could see them coming, but they won't reach the helicopters. So all the helicopters are ready about 6:30, 6:45. I went and told the Group Captain Chandan Singh that we're all ready to go again. And Group Captain said, no, it's very dangerous to go at night. But the brigadier was very upset. He said the battle doesn't stop just because the night has come. We only dropped 254 soldiers and their stuff, and there were 6,000 to 7,000 Pakistani armies over there. So there's no equation. There was no way those 250 odd soldiers would survive. Only good thing was that Pakistan didn't know how many people we had dropped, because we were landing every 3-4 minutes. After 4-5 hours of discussion, and they said, okay, we'll send one helicopter and see what happens. So I said, okay, I'll go myself. So I got myself, came to the crew room where I told everybody to sleep, because we were literally working 24/7. So I came to the crew room. I said, guys, I need one volunteer to come with me. 32 pilots I had. Everybody put their hand up. They had all seen the bullets. They should have all been scared. But everybody had so much josh and ready to go. By 9th morning, we had delivered 900 soldiers, plus their arms, plus their ammunition, plus whatever. So total about over 4,000 soldiers and over 700 tons of equipment. And each helicopter, Russian helicopter, Mi-4, it carries about 1,500 kilos. We were carrying 2,000 plus kilos. And not a single accident. Throughout the 2 weeks, not a single accident. I'm telling you, it was just amazing. And by the 15th morning, all our soldiers, but nearly 4,000-5,000 soldiers were at Dhaka. And that is when General Jacob came, and he went to Dhaka and told Niazi, my soldiers are standing outside, you better surrender or you're going to get killed. Before the rest of the world wakes up to the fact that the war is on, we'll finish the war. And we got to Dhaka before UN woke up, before Americans woke up, before the Britishers woke up, that the war is going on. We were already in Dhaka. We came to know there was going to be a meeting on the 14th or something. We sent a fighter, and it attacked exactly just when the governor's house meeting was going to take place. And the governor just fell on his feet and went and told the UN representative, I'm resigning, I don't want to take over. So fighters did a wonderful job. The transport people we did para-dropping as well, and Tangail, it went very well. 750 odd people they dropped. So the whole operation worked beautifully. On the surrender day, on the 16th December, and I was told 5 Mi-4s will go for the surrender ceremony. And we were going to carry the reporters. And I was told that only the pilots flying will go. I said, yes, sir. But I had 25 spare pilots and engineers. I divided them into 5 each, and I told these 5 each to go into each helicopter. And I smuggled them to Dhaka, because I didn't want them to miss the surrender ceremony. It's a once in a lifetime surrender ceremony. And I said, baad mein, when the boss tells me, I'll say, sorry, sir, But I didn't want anybody to miss the surrender ceremony, because we had put our life on the line. And it was a wonderful experience. Absolutely the most wonderful experience, watching the surrender happening in Dhaka. And I don't even, you might have seen in the Second World War movies when the Americans went in and into Paris, and what a reception they were getting, the similar reception we were getting from the Bengali. Everybody wanted to shake hands, they wanted to give us a hug, and and wonderful, absolutely wonderful.
At 4 p.m. on the 16th of December 1971, Lieutenant General A.A.K. Niazi signed the instrument of surrender and placed himself and his troops under the command of Lieutenant General J.S. Arora, GOC-in-Chief, Eastern Command.
When you analyze and look at this war, you have to place it in perspective. The 1971 war was the only real total military victory that the Indian Armed Forces secured after independence.
Which other country in the world captures the whole country and hands over to the Bengalis? Nobody. Most countries capture it and they keep it for themselves.
The Indian Armed Forces is not one of the best in the world. It is the best in the world.